Hello, this is Samsai again, and welcome back to Stellaris. So here's the thing. This video is marked as the first episode of our Stellaris Let's Play, and I had one before. I started one, but sadly I made a very stupid mistake of accidentally recording like for 2 hours without any microphone audio. And I didn't really want to like try and salvage it by like editing it down or like doing post commentary on it, because I don't think I can make post commentary like natural, at least in the context of how I do my Let's Play videos and stuff. And I also didn't want to just like jump 2 hours ahead, because there a lot of interesting stuff happened during that 2 hour period. Not to mention that our galaxy was a little bit weird, so first of all I'm just going to make sure that we have that set to that, because this frame rate here is a little bit odd. 50 FPS, this is not what I would really expect. Anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to play this the same way we did in the previous, well, sort of a series that I started. I only uploaded the first video and I have removed it now, because it doesn't make any sense for it to exist. But we are going to play a new game, obviously, and we're going to do a random empire. This is how I like to play my Stellaris. I don't like to, like, all of these are fancy races and all that, and they play very differently, and you can have a lot of fun with them. And if you were to like start out with Stellaris, I would probably like start out with like the United Nations of Earth or something. But I like to play random, because it kind of forces me to play in a different way. Typically, I fall very easily back to the sort of xenophile, diplomatic way of playing. And that doesn't necessarily, like, work out. Well, I mean, it works out, but it doesn't necessarily make for a fun game. So rather what I want to do is I want to randomize my empire, and I'm sort of going to play towards, or play to, my like ethics, the ethics that get randomized for our empire. So if we get like a xenophobe, military-oriented empire, I'm going to try to play towards that. Although I'm not very good at playing a xenophobe, and I do tend to sort of play into the diplomacy a little bit more than just like waging a galaxy-wide war. So what kind of a system do we want? I have recently been doing quite a lot of like spirals. The reason being that spirals allow you to have a slightly different kind of an experience. I'm going to go with like a random 6 to 13 empires with 1 or 2 advanced and 2 fallen empires not randomized. And we're going to have I'm going to randomize the Marauders so that we can get either 1 or 2. Sometimes 2 is a little bit much. And everything else here I'm going to basically have at normal settings, so that we have like the amount of habitable worlds is more or less the same as it would be otherwise, and that there are some primitive civilizations but not a whole lot of them, and that the crisis strength is at 1 times. I am playing this on Iron Man mode, so we're not going to be loading saves. And the difficulty, I think I'll increase that a little bit. Let's set it to Captain. Scaling, I don't know what that means. AI aggressiveness normal. Empire placement is completely random. And all of this stuff is set to 1 times. I think Spiral might be interesting. Makes for a like slightly more defensible position, but I think what I might do is I'll just set it to an elliptical, so that's more or less the same as it would be otherwise. So yeah, let's go with these. Let's create our, or rather get our randomized empire and see how we do. All right. Well, this is definitely interesting. Okay. So we are the 001 hub. We are a catalog index So, a machine intelligence designed for a ravenous appetite for knowledge by its organic creators who were forcefully assimilated into its collective consciousness after activation. Our ruler is called Attenuator. We are the 001, and our capital is 01. We are basically a machine intelligence, so we are basically just a machine of these kinds of robots. And our civics are OTA updates, so our edict costs are slightly less than they would be otherwise. So we have wireless receptors that make behavioral updates real time, so we can basically program ourselves remotely very easily. And we are driven assimilators. This is the first time I've actually played a driven assimilator, so I'm not sure how this is going to go. But yeah, we're obsessed with survival through diversification. The machine intelligence seeks to erase the line between itself and everything and everyone else. So we start with cyborgs, and we can assimilate organics into our consciousness. So we're kind of like the space, well, the spaceborg. That's kind of redundant. We're kind of like the Borg in that we are assimilating populations, and if we don't assimilate pops that we have within our empire, they automatically get purged. And we already we have a casus belli called assimilation on neighboring empires, and people don't like us very much. So we're a machine, we're super conductive, so we make more energy per tick. We also are mass produced, so we can build more robots faster. But we are uncanny. So basically, we are the Borg, effectively. I should have probably read the flavor text for our species, but yeah, we are these kinds of robots, and we have these kinds of these Rufari that presumably made us, and we have just kind of integrated them into our machine intelligence through assimilation. So these are drones. They have the full military service, population control, no, colonization rights, yes, and migration controls, yes. Obviously, we're going to keep all of that. So, I imagine most people watching have some kind of a grasp of Stellaris, but I'm going to go through most of this stuff. I'm going to sort of explain what I do and stuff. So, yep, this is currently our empire here. We're definitely going to have to make that a lot bigger than it is. And luckily, we have a fairly decent sort of area here with a couple of easily defensible sort of bottlenecks. And we're probably going to need those because, like I mentioned, we are assimilators, and organics, for whatever reason, don't really like us. Like, if there are other machine races, those guys don't really mind, I guess. But yes, we're definitely going to have to work with this a little bit. And just so you know, I have a couple of the DLCs included. I have Utopia, I have, naturally, all the machine stuff. I don't have Leviathans, so if that says anything to you. Okay, let's get started. So first of all, let's set up our research going. So this is our text screen, and these are all the things that we can research for our various research departments. Considering we are assimilators, I think we should probably focus on offensive technology, at least early on, so that we can get our defenses up. So let's get the blue lasers. Monthly unity is useful. Population growth, I think that applies to our cyborgs. I think they reproduce through like more natural means, so I think this still matters to us. We can also get the network junction, which would produce unity. This is basically our like a planetary capital building. But I think the straight up just 2 unity is worth it. Carrier ops, I don't think I really need like strikecraft immediately. So I think I'm just going to go with the more offensive or focused stuff, which would be the Ceramo metal armor. Okay, now we get to start actually mapping this place. So like I mentioned, these places here are kind of the places I want to capture. So let's send our science vessel, commanded by Coadjutron New, to map this place out. We're going to basically be looking for habitable worlds and places that have a lot of resources, and we want to also map these places so that we can establish our bottleneck, so that we can sort of start building inside of this region and then expand outwards. So let's get these guys to survey. I think this might be a little bit of a long way to go. Right, I can probably build like another research vessel to check these places here, because we also need to expand. So I'll just make sure to survey this area, or at least start, so that we can at least maybe survey both of these bottlenecks. There's the Yothmore Shroud. So this is a nebula. Nebulas are fun. I haven't really been able to like properly look into how good they are. But basically what they do in like these new versions of Stellaris is that they allow you to hide vessels inside the nebula, and people cannot like find them with scanners. I haven't used that to my advantage yet, but we'll see if we can eventually make that work. Also, we should probably like get our production going. So we have a couple of things in our current solar system. We have this planet here with some physics research, and a couple of other places. It's this gas giant that we could also extract some resources, and this moon. So we could start building stuff there. In fact, can we cannot probably, yeah, we still need like 80 minerals to build both of these mining stations. You could also consider doing stuff here, but it takes a little bit of time to get our stuff built on the planet itself. So, is there actually anything that I should be like really focusing on here? Maybe like clearing up some of these tiles might be a good idea. Because we're going to eventually need that energy, and tapping into it at some point is probably worth doing. So, also let's just increase the speed to the fastest, because we are kind of just playing the waiting game here a little bit. Since we are waiting for that science vessel to be constructed. Okay, that's that. So now we just need to get a scientist working on this. So we can actually get a cyborg to lead this vessel. None of these guys are actually any good for this. This guy has yeah, none of these guys are actually any good. The only guy that is an archaeologist that we have is already on a vessel. So I guess I'll just get the youngest one. But we don't have enough energy. It's going to take 200 to get this. So actually,
tile blocker expunged.
That clearing up that tile blocker was actually a mistake on my part, because we don't need that right now. What we do need though is the energy credits, which we right now don't have. But it's fine. We're going to eventually. Okay, so there's basically nothing there. Eventually, we're going to get. Just give me a second. And I'm back. So, oh. We have discovered alien life. So it's this world right here. So there is just an alpine world with some alien pets. Sadly, they are not sentient or pre-sentient aliens, so we're not going to be able to assimilate them into our empire. We have confirmed the existence of lower forms of organic life outside of 01's biosphere. Also, let's build those mining stations now that we can afford it. And once I have 200 energy credits, I will get the second science vessel up and running. So with this guy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just map this area and then go like deeper. So I want to sort of do this in some kind of like cycles, so that we can like figure out where we should expand. This world is very good, so this one I will definitely expand to. And because we are machines, normally stuff like the like this is an alpine world, so normally this would matter, but because we're machines, we don't really care, because machines don't get cold. Or at least here they don't. So
executing evasion protocol.
Oh, now this is interesting. Okay, so we have found something. Okay, this is a fleet of alpha aliens and a massive alien space station. I can actually look into this and investigate this, and that might just be something that I will do. But yeah, basically this bottleneck is currently occupied by these aliens.
Complete.
Okay, that's just the mining station.
System survey complete. Executing evasion protocols.
And more of this stuff. I think these are the same aliens, yeah, the crystalline entities or whatever. So once we have those guys investigated, we can sort of figure out what the hell is going on. But since that way is completely blocked, and I'm not going to sacrifice this science vessel in pursuit of exploring that place, what I'm going to instead do is I'm going to have him just plot a course to this place, like a direct course, and survey all the solar systems between here and there. And I'll have this guy sort of plug in the holes.
Special project complete.
Yep, crystalline entities. The ship-size crystals may at first appear inert, but sudden shifts in their orientation relative to our ships and new energy signatures emerging from within the prisms indicate that they should be regarded as hazardous and approached with caution. So we can issue a special project for the remote study of these guys, which is something that I will do, because researching these guys usually gives some kind of a bonus. I don't remember exactly what kind of a bonus that is for researching the crystalline entities, but there is no doubt some kind of a bonus there, so I am going to do that. Also, is this place not like surveyed? Okay, so you're surveying that. I just want to make sure that you have surveyed that too.
Surface variable detected.
Oh, so we have an anomaly. These pop up from time to time. I'm probably not going to read these, but they tend to have some interesting stuff. And this one is an easy one to investigate, so we're just going to do that. There is also an alpine world here for us to colonize, and we're probably going to do that once we have that place surveyed. And yes, we are in fact sort of, we have the best of both worlds in a way. Failure is 20, yeah, just do it. What I could do is I could also like very carefully consider what anomalies these are, because I have a fairly good grasp what each of those anomalies actually does. Yeah, we have a best of both worlds situation here. We can build pops if we want to, and that allows us to build these 001s. But at the same time, our cyborgs also just kind of grow on their own. So I'm going to build like a power plant here to get a little bit more energy credits, because those tend to get very important as time goes on. Oh. Shows every sign of having been a thriving Eurasian colony until 1,200,000 years ago. So the Irasians are...
Situation log adjusted.
They are kind of this precursor civilization that we can sort of figure out. But they were like... the six-limbed mammalian Irasians had an unusually weak immune system that made them especially vulnerable to alien diseases. So basically, these are basically a civilization that kind of got wiped out, and we can sort of figure out their story. We might look into that now that we have discovered one of their colony ruins. But we're not going to do that quite yet. We have some other things to worry about in the meantime.
Situation
And that's in
log
fact
adjusted.
another thing that is related to the Irasians. Yeah, this place is turning out to be a fairly nice one. It has decent resources, so I'll probably have to go there. Also, we have a tradition available. So, these unity points that we gather are put towards tradition. So every time we have a certain amount of unity, we get to pick one of these. And we are... I tend to, like, some of these traditions are... Well, I mean, all of them are very good. None of them are, like, really all that bad. But I kind of like to play with our, sort of, the kind of an empire we are. So we are assimilators. So stuff like supremacy would be pretty good. Because we are probably going to have to go to war. But also domination. Well, actually, domination, not so much. Because I think, like, domination is that we basically rule over other empires, keeping those empires as sort of our vassals. We aren't really doing that. What we are more like doing is we are just going to their planets, enslaving them, and turning them into cyborgs. That's kind of more our thing. So I think supremacy might actually be a good one here. Basically, the adoption effect for this one is our starbase capacity is increased by 2. Right now we can build 3, so that would bring us up to 5. And our finisher effect is that for like finishing all of these, and every single one of these actually gives a different thing too. But if we finish this tree, we get War Doctrines policies, and also an Ascension perk, which is one of these things. And there are some good things here, like army damage and increased unity, stuff like that. What we could also do is like discovery, because that's kind of what, like our robotic beings were kind of built towards figuring out everything in the galaxy. And the way they kind of do it is they, you know, assimilate rather than gather their own knowledge. But that doesn't mean that we wouldn't try to discover stuff. And the finisher effect for discovery is actually very good. The plus 10% research is really nice. But in the early game, I think I'm going to actually... I'm not sure how much we're going to mess with anomalies. But survey speed is actually very good. I think I'm going to still go with supremacy, because I will need those star bases. So I'll take that rather than
System survey.
early game discovery.
Anomalous surface variable
Oh.
detected.
Crystalline entities are unbreakable. The crystalline entities are probably alive. A perhaps more descriptive name for them is silicate animate matter, as they have little common with biological or traditionally artificial life. The entities do not seem to mate and have yet to observe any crystals that are recognizably older or younger than the others. Contrary to an earlier hypothesis, the shifts in hue between individual crystalline entities seem to be related not to their age but to their latent internal charge, which can be violently unleashed, and it appears as though sporadic fluctuations in this change alter the refractive properties of the crystal. So if we want to... We have basically now found the crystal sonar. So if we want to spend 30 energy, we can instantly survey any crystalline entity system when we enter it. Which is an interesting possibility. Atmospheric readings from Euros do not match the projections. Sure, whatever. Figure it out. So that means that we could enter these systems and pay 30 for their, you know, survey. But at this point we have kind of accumulated a decent amount of minerals and also some energy. So I think it's about time we actually expand our empire. So this world seems decent enough. It's nothing special. Like, this place is a little bit more special because it's a bigger world. But this is closer, and we get 6 minerals for energy out of it. Well, probably not all of it, because we're actually not going to get this 4. So we're going to get 2 plus 4. But we can build some mines here, so that's going to be a little bit more than 4. Alternatively, we could go here, but then we would only get 3 energy. So I think this is still more worth it because it's closer. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send our construction ship to build an outpost there. And that will actually get us the ability to colonize that world. Swirling shadows, so shadow play. Basically this place just now has a little bit of extra research that we can do on it. Let's survey these worlds and hope that nothing bad goes on. We could actually change these civics, I think. Except for the driven ass simulator, that one I cannot actually change. But at this point, I'm not going to bother, like, reforming our civilization. Because I'm not sure, like, I don't use edicts a whole lot, so these OTA updates are actually not that worthwhile. The problem is that it takes influence to, like, reform your government. Introspective would be an interesting one. Constructo bot, rock breakers, zero waste. I think war bots might be a good one because we are kind of supposed to maybe go to war. But if I did this, first of all, we have to wait 70 years to actually be able to reform, and secondly, we need to actually spend 250 influence on getting that reform done. But we have now expanded our empire. So the world of Tubi, or Tubi, is now ours. We can actually send a colony ship here to colonize it. Either with the 001s, or with just the Rufari. And none of this stuff really, like the happiness stuff, doesn't matter. The natural engineer stuff, I think it still matters. And the cybernetic just means that these guys live a little bit longer and their habitability is increased. But these guys already have a base habitability of like 100% on this kind of a world. They are slow breeders though. I'm not sure how that like affects them now because they are cybernetic. Maybe it still affects them. I don't know. Anyway, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to send some 001s to colonize this world. And we'll probably send some, like, cybernetic guys or cyborgs there after them. Okay, so we just found that this place... So this asteroid here was basically part of a planet, and that means that it's a little bit more worthwhile as far as, like, resources are concerned. We should probably also build those mining stations as soon as we can. But I think this is starting out to be a decent start.
System survey complete. surface variable detected.
Alrighty, well, we're going to have to definitely explore that then. But yeah.
Construction complete.
What shall we do next? So we have that now moving there. I can probably afford to, yeah, I can afford to do that, but it actually does not make too much sense, I think, because, yeah, this planet is going to get changed over to a, wait, there's a, oh, that is actually, I think, a an alien civilization right there. Alrighty, well, also, we should probably, the derelict, oh, that's the Eurasian cruiser, okay. We're going to look into these a little bit later, but we should probably investigate these beta aliens. Because this, I think, is another civilization, so it probably makes sense for us to figure out where they actually are. Because that affects how we're going to, like, sort of react to them. Because I have a feeling that they might actually be, like, around here. Because if we, like, look at how far we've expanded... Oh, that's the first colony that we're going to get.
System survey complete.
Yeah, these guys could possibly cause some issues, you know, if they are organics. It might mean war. Also, let's build those mining stations so that we can get this energy credit number up. And we have also found an ocean world, a big one. Havariga Technocracy. And they have figured out our language. Alright, let's see how this goes. We're the Havariga Technocracy. Minions of the wise Primus Stamul I. Our aim is to improve ourselves through the use of technology, and whether you agree with these goals or not, we trust you will remain amicable neighbors. We can only say one thing: join us. They are pacifist, materialist authoritarians. Our theoretical models have long suggested the existence of other intelligent civilizations in our galaxy. This theory has now been confirmed. The alien political entity that we have encountered has a level of technology similar to our own, indicating that we achieved spaceflight at roughly the same time. This data must be analyzed. Alright. This makes it a little bit more convenient.
System survey complete.
They have naturally closed their borders to us, which I did not doubt for a second. What I do want to do, though, is I want to expand here as fast as possible. Simply for the reason that an unidentified empire has a military base here. Zanami civilization encountered. We have detected the presence of an alien civilization on Ferdera in the Izar system. They appear to be in the early space age, as evidenced by the many primitive satellites orbiting their homeworld. Their nation-states are on a path towards joining together in a global government, and it is likely only a matter of time before they venture beyond their world and join the galactic community. We should not set up an observation post. What we should do is we should actually capture that world. I'm going to send hunter-killer armies to take over this world. And I am definitely going to take this over. So, they have these post-atomic army units here, which do from 0.9 to 1.8 damage. So if I consider these guys do 1.5 to 3 times damage. So my guys are about twice as good as their guys. I want to take over
construction complete.
This world. And I'm going to send my forces to do exactly that. Okay, let's get ourselves a... Yeah, this admiral seems nice. I think I should be able to attack primitive civilization, but just so that I can, my native interference is unrestricted and native enlightenment is prohibited. We're going to enlighten them, but we're going to do so through the process of assimilation. And this actually gives me the perfect jumping off point.
System survey complete.
So while you are doing that, just please survey these worlds, because I have my eyes on a prize, and this prize I cannot simply ignore. Because this is the perfect kind of a civilization for us to assimilate. It's almost at the space age. Rock brain. Fascinating results. The rock's core is shot through with a network of conductive crystals. It's a primitive neural lattice, and it's and believe this celestial body to be thinking in some capacity. They seek the permission to excavate the core and transport it to the nearest orbital station for a closer study. Make it so. Rock migraine. The core of yada yada yada, once coaxed from beneath the crust of the asteroid, does not respond well to the vacuum of space. The scientific module's instruments read a sudden energy spike moments before the rocky lump gently but decisively fractures. Large chunks of the conductive minerals are salvaged, but whatever special charge animated them now is gone. At least we got some energy credits out of it and a little bit of physics. Also, we do we actually? Yes, we do have a shipyard. Can we actually make anything? These corvettes are a little bit expensive for us. We cannot really make them yet. But hopefully these guys should not pose a threat. I think their like very primitive space station does not offer actual like
system survey complete.
Protection against them. It's kind of like the ISS, that kind of a level of a space station. And we're about to send an army of proactive caretaker squads. That's a nice name of a killer robot to take care of their world once their forces have been neutralized. And just to make sure that that goes well, I'm going to enable electronic warfare for 25% extra army damage. Capturing this world will give us not only control of this particular chunk of land. Can I actually, like, declare war on these guys? Okay. Let's send... We can only invade... Ah, damn it. This is going to take a little bit of extra time. Can I actually make that? Yes, I can. Okay. I'm going to send the construction module all the way out here to take this place over. Still sort of getting used to the new... Well, I mean, these are not the new rules, but I haven't played Stellaris in a while, so I'm a little bit out of, like... out of it for now. But these guys can still come here. And once this place has been claimed by me, I will definitely just insta-assimilate everyone on that planet into our wonderful collective, and there comes our ceramo metal armor. Let's improve our servo motors for a little bit of extra army damage and some extra minerals. That's going to take too long for it to matter. But it should be done in time for our attack on these guys. Because I'm definitely planning on attacking these guys. So don't worry about that.
Technological acquisition successful.
And that's the extra unity that we're going to get. Climate control network would probably be a nice one, because most of these planets here seem to be... Oh, this one is a nice one. Double Betharian. So this is the Betharian stones are basically a fantastic way of creating energy. They allow you to create Betharian power plants, which are significantly better than normal power plants. And this place has twice of it, so we're going to have to definitely get this place. So I think my expansion is going to sort of move in this direction instead of this direction where I was initially thinking about moving. But we're eventually going to get here too, so don't worry about it. This is one thing that I'm currently considering. Like, normally there are pirates that happen, but we are a machine intelligence, so there aren't any like pirates that are going to split off from us. So I'm not like sure how that works here.
Construction complete.
Okay, this place now belongs to us. So we're going to destroy their
Stationary asset engaged.
their space station, and we're going to start bombing their planets. We're going to... Okay, so our current orbital bombardment is selective, so we're going to do moderate damage to enemies and tiles, and light damage to pops, but we will not kill the last 8. We can either go... We can also go to indiscriminate, which will not kill the last 4 pops, but will do heavy damage to armies and tiles. So these are the 2 options we have, selective or indiscriminate. And I think in this instance, these guys are not that great. So I think selective damage against them is good enough.
System survey.
So yeah, these guys are now bombing the planet, and our transport fleet has also arrived. So let's send them. Actually, I'll make sure that they actually get there properly. So what do I want? I could get this guy in here. Or I could get a butcher. The general assistomaton. Sure, I'll get you. And we're just going to we're going to enter the orbit first. So right now they have 5 of their armies against 4 of ours, and our armies do a way better job.
Technological acquisition successful.
That's the blue lasers. Eventually we're going to get those. Also, survey, speed, and automatic exploration. Oh, but academic optimization, we need that. Okay, you know what? I think I'm going to just land the armies.
Planetary pacification protocols.
Yeah, we're doing way more damage to them than they are doing to us. And there's also the, I think, the more morale side. Yeah, these guys are taking like high morale damage, but our guys are not taking any at all because we don't have morale. Subjugating primitives. So the primitive organics of Ferdera have been subjugated, and though their feeble combat capabilities are an indicator of an underdeveloped society, our bioanalyst bots have concluded that their neural capacities show promise. They will be assimilated. Commence identity sublimation. So these guys, first of all, they're not very happy right now, which is, I know, it's understandable. But they are being assimilated, and we probably should like actually land these forces on the like planet to make sure that unrest doesn't get completely out of hand. They are understandably very unhappy, because we are technically purging them. They are now part of our empire, here, the Zanami, and they are currently going through the assimilation. What we could also do is that we could just like... can I actually set their rights? Citizenship, I could set them to undesirables, and that would just purge them. But I think they make more sense to include into our collective, because they seem like useful people. natural physicists and all that. Our Rufari are natural engineers, so we could like optimize that. But yeah, these guys we can just send them back. And now the question is, what do we do with all of these energy credits that we're losing? We kind of need to do something about that. But that is a very nice. Oh, they have declared an immediate rivalry against us. I'm not going to even bother making a rivalry. I don't need that, because yeah, we are driven assimilators. We assimilate. We don't rival. But it's understandable that they would be a little bit pissed. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to close the borders so that they don't get to go through my land. So instead of, if they want to like colonize here, they're going to have to go around, not through me. This is a very, very interesting game. I haven't really played like driven assimilators, so this is all like new stuff to me. But so far, so good. Now the question really becomes, how do we, like, where do we go from here? I do want this world. This world would be an absolute, like, treasury. So I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to capture these worlds right here, or, you know, build outposts there. And what I'm also going to have to do is I'm going to turn this station right here into a proper starport. That way we can actually start building stuff here. But that can wait until we have solved the economy. So let's actually capture like this place, and that way we can tap into those energy credits right there, and then we can sort of start moving towards here. And this science vessel should absolutely check out all of this stuff here. And this science vessel should probably, I don't know, go here. I kind of want the automatic mapping, that way they can actually map on their own when I don't have a specific duty for them to do. These places I also need to consider, because like none of these worlds are actually that bad, and that's partly because we are robots and we don't actually have to worry about the habitability, because everything is always 100%. If we were
Ship augmentations completed.
If we were just like organics, we would actually have to worry about this, because our main planet is an alpine world, so we would only be able to properly look at all of the alpine worlds around here. So for example, this world would be out of limits, at least for now. This one would be good, but this one would also be out of limits.
Planetary surface settlement established.
And that is our settlement. Also, one thing I should now start actually doing is we have researched a couple of like components for our ships. So let's look at our ship designer here. Currently we have just these corvettes, and these have already been upgraded to use all of our new stuff. But eventually I'm going to start building like proper fleets. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a new, it's basically the same design, but I'm going to make one of these. Auto design is turned on. Cannot manually design ships while auto design is turned on. I think it's because of the fact that this thing is an auto best. But I remember like the different ship designs kind of conflicting with the fleet manager. So what I want to do is I actually want to make a yeah, I'm going to disable the auto generation, and then I'm going to create a ship design. So the cybernated Ranger is now our new design, and I'm going to remove that old one. I'm going to do the same with the defense platform. I'm just going to generate one. This design already exists. Well, damn you. Just create a new name for it. And then remove that. And that way I can keep upgrading these. I don't really waste a lot of time tweaking these designs to suit my needs too much. I kind of just create them by random. But I kind of want to keep them as my own designs because it makes the fleet manager a little bit easier to like handle. So when I start doing stuff like increasing how many ships go into this fleet and stuff of that nature, then I can start, you know, considering that. Also, let's just retrofit these things into the new ship class. So that they are actually part of the cybernated Rangers. Now we should also start looking at this. So, this place will need a little bit of work everywhere. Now they are not so unresty. They are still a little bit unresty, but not so much. And I think it's because, yeah, these guys have already been cybernetically enhanced. These guys are still in the process of assimilation. Do I actually need food? We consume 0 food, so the cybernetics don't actually eat food, which is a good thing. We don't have to worry about it then. So instead, for example, you can start working on something completely different, like a nice uplink node or something. We should probably have like a deployment post. I guess here makes sense. Yeah, let's just have a deployment post there. And actually, you can stay right there. And this one I can upgrade to, or rather, all of these I can upgrade to mining outposts, or mining networks. And you, my dear friend, can start working on a power plant. So that way we can turn this place into something of a colony. You have to do the same here. Start making this into an actual colony. So, what do we need here? We have a decent amount of like places where we can mine minerals. So I think turning this place into some kind of an energy production place is probably sane. I'll have to build some pops here to also man these, but it's fine. I should be building mines here as well, but I forgot. And we have a whole bunch of stuff here that is also being worked on, but I have kind of neglected. So, for example, this place could use maybe a...
Construction complete.
Yeah, I still think that a power plant is something that makes sense. Okay. Let's reduce unrest even further. It shouldn't be a problem anymore on Izar. Just so that it isn't an issue anymore, let's decrease it by like 20%. And there it goes.
System survey.
So this place is now turning into some kind of a place for our empire. And we have, oh, Birth of Space Piracy in the TOA system. This place. Interesting. It says that my piracy risk is 0, but there are still some pirates here. That means that we're going to have to start taking care of that. I have some ships in the area. And in fact, let's actually go to the fleet manager. Can I actually... Have these guys not been retrofitted? Retrofit them to the... I thought I already had done this, but I guess not. Yeah, I want them to be retrofitted to the cybernated ranger. Okay, yeah, the pirates have decided to attack us. But this shouldn't really be a problem, because we have a space station here to stop this kind of activity.
Construction complete.
And we didn't even lose any ships. But these guys do need to be retrofitted.
Ship augmentations completed.
Yep, now they are cybernated rangers. And this actually now allows us to start managing this as a fleet. So I can start adding more ships to it. Which is something that I do want to do. So let's reinforce the fleet with an extra cybernated ranger. And then I'm going to go after the... or two.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
Yeah, go and check it out. And then with like the 5 of these guys, I am going to go and take out the pirates. The pirates are basically like typically your like early game adversary. Because typically you don't go into a war and start invading planets this early on, or at least I don't. But in this we are slightly different, because we actually started attacking guys this early. Yeah, let's destroy this pirate outpost. That should take care of the piracy for now.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
And there we go. We get some minerals and some energy out of that. So that's all good. Let's just prepare the fleet, and then we can consider where we go from here. I do want those mining stations built, so let's build those. And there's just an asteroid collision, which just gives us some minerals in a faraway place.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
Sure. Let's figure that one out too. And we also apparently researched the servo motors. Okay. We could get machine template system for a little bit of robo modding if we wanted to do that. But I think at this point we're still early on. Let's get the coil guns, because we're still using, like right now, our ship designs, if we go to the ship designer, we're using these small mass drivers and blue lasers. So if we upgrade these mass drivers into coil guns, we'll do a little bit of extra damage. We could also be just using lasers or just mass drivers, but I like to sort of vary things up and go by what the game recommends. Now this is also looking like another civilization, so let's investigate those guys as well. Because I don't want to be surprised. Surprises are sometimes good, but in Stellaris, surprises tend to be mostly of the negative sort, so it probably makes more sense to first figure out like what is actually going on, so that we don't get surprised.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
All right, let's hear it. 5 more months to figure out what the new aliens are. We should probably build like another construction ship, because using this one is a little bit slow, and we have some minerals that we could still use. In fact, I could possibly use them here. This place has a couple of places for labs. Do I want to do that? I kind of want to do that. Let's build at least one lab with a person, working the lab.
A foreign entity has decrypted our communication.
The Reub Sacred Principality. So they are a theocratic monarchy, slaving despots, so they are not that different from us. Authoritarian militarist spiritualists. Well met, I represent the Reub Sacred Principality led by the illustrious Archprophet I. We rule our region of space under our divine mandate, and so long as you do not interfere in our spiritual affairs, our relations may remain cordial. Yeah, just join us. Okay, so they are here. And as usual, they have closed their borders. Yeah, they don't really like us. Which isn't too surprising, considering I suppose we're sort of stripping away their... Yeah, these guys don't like us because we're soul thieves. We're stealing the souls of the innocent. And these guys don't like us because of our annexation of primitives, our border friction, our bombardment policy, our closed borders, the fact that they are our rivals, and the fact that they are afraid of us. And we're also uncanny, so that doesn't help. But yeah, these guys don't like us at all. In fact, they like us... well, basically less. I mean, here it doesn't look like that, but the reason why these guys are hating us so much is because they declared a rivalry with us. These guys really hate us, and they will always hate us, and they are never going to change. Unless we make them change. So that's probably what we're going to have to do. These guys will forever not cooperate with us, because the fact that they are spiritualists and militarists at the same time, means that they both feel that we are disrupting their ideology, and they also feel like they can do something about it, so, you know, all the worst things possible. Let's send these guys out to explore sort of the outer region here. And these are specifically the kind of issues I want to avoid by building up this kind of a defense network of choke points. And talking about choke points, yeah, that one we want because of the physics research and the minerals that we can get from there.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
Natural wormhole. Where's this? Oh, it's here. The wormholes are interesting. I haven't been able to use them yet, because not in a, like... Every time I've played this new version of the game, I have either stopped before I could use them, or I've lost saves or something. But I think they allow you to just transport from one area of the map to another. It's a little bit far away, and it's likely going to get, like, eaten up by this place. Okay, where are these? Okay, so that's the Pi aliens. And it's another civilization to me. Well, we might as well check them out as well. Eventually we're going to have to focus on doing other research, because currently this is taking a while. The Hothgum Commonwealth. Another theocratic republic. Evangelizing zealots. So once again, the spiritualist militarist combo. I come with a message from the revered Elder Pagro, the elected leader of the Hothgum Commonwealth. We believe in the rights of all sapient beings to fulfill their individual spiritual needs, and will brook no alien interference in this matter. Let me guess, these guys don't like us. No, they absolutely don't like us. They are both xenophobic, and they also think that we are, you know, soul thieves. These guys are probably going to, like, link up eventually, and these guys might just join in for a good measure. So we're going to have to work against all of these guys at the same time. Which means that building up our defenses is definitely very important in the near future.
Technological acquisition successful.
That's the research speed. Very good. I'll get the fusion reactors. Those are useful, at least in the long run. Okay, everyone here has now been properly turned into cybernetic beings. So you might as well start, you know, making some good stuff for me. You up there. Eventually you're going to be able to make me one of these uplink nodes. You guys don't need any food anymore, so just build some, like, power plants. Those are always useful.
Construction complete.
Okay, now that has been built. This is going to take a couple hundred minerals to actually get all of this stuff done. But I do want to link up these both of these areas.
Anomalous surface variable detected.
Hierarchy of Valu. A totalitarian regime of erudite explorers. A fanatic authoritarian materialist faction. We are the hierarchy of Valu, minions of the wise Primarch Igvi-Riem. Our aim is to improve ourselves through the use of technology, and whether you agree with these goals or not, we trust you will remain amicable. You will remain amicable neighbors. Join us. Okay, these guys might actually keep each other busy for the time being, because these guys are materialists and these guys are spiritualists. So these guys might actually keep themselves busy. We're going to have to focus on these guys, at least. I don't think the Valu really like us. No, they don't, as you might expect. But they hate us less. Which means that it's a good enough reason to keep them around.
Situation log adjusted.
Okay, we have found...
Situation log adjusted.
Oh, there... Who are these guys? Oh, boy! Whatever these guys are, there's just a massive concentration of enemies. Or, well, hostiles. I guess the best I can do is just focus on exploring this area, because we're kind of sort of getting boxed in by these guys and these guys. But we do need to still focus on getting rid of these guys and focusing on getting this choke point built up. The Chim Warriors sighted. For several months now we have received scattered reports of a small number of alien mercenaries and privateers operating on the frontiers of our space. They call themselves the Chim, and are apparently exiles from a nomadic warrior culture inhabiting overcrowded space stations in and around the Buxom system. Their passage near our space proceeded without incident, but they warned us against trespassing in Buxom. There is no Chim central government to speak of, and their various factions are engaged in constant infighting and often launch raids against neighboring star systems. Indeed, given their vast population and space-based production capability, the Chim would likely be a significant galactic power if they ever stopped killing each other. Yep, these are the Chim freeholders. So, they are basically
system survey complete.
Raiders. They are marauders, which is actually a good thing. So we can actually get these guys to raid other people, and we might actually use that to our advantage. Sort of hire these guys to attack these guys, etc., etc. But that's probably not going to happen yet. And the fact that these guys are here is probably a good thing, because then these guys might, you know, get into some kind of a fight here. And at least any forces that they want to try to move through their land is going to get intercepted and destroyed. They're likely going to have to move their forces around.
Situation log adjusted.
Okay, where have we found this? Because this one is interesting. Okay. So that shipyard allows us to get some stuff. So I'm going to do that research project, because I think if we can get like some kind of a ship out of it, or ships. So I'll see if I can get that stuff done. And let's build those mining stations now that I remember to do that. And then we can start like connecting these areas.
Complete. System survey complete.
But yeah, I think
surface variable detected.
I think this is a good time to end it. The problem right now is that my room is heating up a little bit, and I'm going to have to open up the windows again and the doors and probably start up a fan. And I'm kind of starting to sweat here. The problems of recording stuff in the summer. So I think I'm going to end it here for now. I think this is an interesting start. It's definitely more interesting than the previous start that I had for this series. So yeah, we're going to keep on doing doing this particular run in the future. I'm probably going to start like doing a little bit more of recording, playing a couple of games here and there. I have been a little bit lazy, but that's, you know, because of university, and now that it's summer, I don't really have that many studies to do. I'm going to take some, but not too many. So this should allow me to focus a little bit more on doing YouTube stuff again. But this game is already saved, so let's exit to menu. I hope you have enjoyed this new start to Stellaris, and yeah, thank you for watching. See you guys in future videos.